secret almost got me killed. My hand trembled as I opened the envelope that had fallen from my neighbor's briefcase. The photographs scattered across my desk like cards from a deadly deck. Faces of strangers, numbers written on each photo. Amounts that made my salary look like pocket change. I looked out my window. The house at 47 Maple Street sat quiet as always. Robert Mitchell watered his red roses. The same man who greeted me every morning, the neighbor who borrowed my tools and accepted my packages. But those photos told a different story. I picked up one image. A man in an expensive suit shaking hands with Robert. Written on the back said Mitchell Construction, 500,000 clean. Another photo showed Robert leaving a bank. The note said Cayman account 2.3 million. My heart raced when I understood what I was seeing. Robert Mitchell was not just my quiet neighbor. He was running a money laundering operation worth millions. And now I had the proof. The doorbell made me jump. I hid the photos in my locked drawer. Robert stood on my porch holding a brown briefcase. "Morning, Michael. You did not see a briefcase I dropped last night, did you?" I forced a smile while gripping the door handle. "Did not see anything, Robert. Maybe it fell in your yard." He studied my face. His blue eyes seemed different now, colder. More calculating. Had some important documents in there. Work contracts, you know. I will check my backyard after lunch. If I find anything, I will let you know. Robert nodded and walked away. But he stopped and looked back. "Michael, you work in accounting, right?" My stomach tightened. "I do. Why? Maybe you could help me with some tax issues. I have investments giving me headaches." "Sure. Anything I can do." He smiled the same smile as always. But now I saw something sinister behind it. I closed the door and leaned against it. My mind raced, connecting the pieces. Had Robert dropped that briefcase on purpose? Was he testing if I found something? I opened the drawer again. All the photos were there. Bank documents, transfer receipts. A real encyclopedia of organized crime. For 15 years, Robert seemed like the perfect neighbor. Widowed retiree who tended his garden. I never imagined his peaceful routine hid this criminal operation. I researched the names in the documents. Mitchell Construction was investigated for tax evasion. Maritime South Export Company had corrupt political connections. All the pieces fit. Robert was not just laundering money. He was cleaning cash for a larger, dangerous organization. And now I knew everything. The next 3 days were the longest of my life. Robert began showing more interest in me, always asking about my work, about my clients, about my routine. The man who barely talked before now seemed fascinated by my life. Wednesday morning, he appeared with a proposal. "Michael, remember I mentioned needing tax help. I have an interesting offer for you." I invited him in. He sat examining every detail of my living room, like he was cataloging information about me. "I see you like suspense novels," he said, pointing to my bookshelf. "I enjoy a good story." "Me too, especially where the protagonist gets into trouble through curiosity." The comment froze my blood. Robert knew I found his briefcase. I was certain. "So what is your proposal?" He pulled out an envelope. "I need you to handle accounting for my companies. Simple work, tax returns and bank transactions. I pay very well." I opened the envelope. Inside was a check for $50,000, just an advance. Monthly payment would be the same amount. My hand shook holding the paper. More money than I earned in a year, but also an obvious trap. "That is very generous, Robert, but I have enough clients already. I'm sure you can make an exception." "We have been neighbors so long." There was a threat in his words. He was not making an offer, he was giving an order. "I need to think about it." Robert walked to the window. "Of course, but do not take too long. Opportunities like this do not come every day." After he left, I called my brother Rick. He was a detective in another city. "Rick, I need some advice off the record." "What is up, Michael?" "Say someone discovered money laundering evidence." "What should they do?" "Take it straight to the FBI. Financial crimes are serious business. What if the person was in danger? Long pause. Michael, are you mixed up in something? Just a hypothetical situation. My advice is seek police protection immediately. Money launderers have dangerous connections. I hung up, more scared than before. Robert did not work alone. Other people were involved. People who would eliminate an inconvenient witness. That night, I noticed I was being watched. A dark car parked outside my house for 2 hours. When I approached the window, it sped away. I called police, but they needed concrete evidence. Next morning, my mailbox was tampered with. Someone searched my mail during the night. The message was clear. They knew where I lived. They knew my routine. They could reach me any time. The decision came Friday when I found my cat dead in the backyard. Whiskers lay beside the fence separating my property from Robert's. No external injuries, but his glassy eyes told the story. Poison. It was a warning. Next time would be me. I digitized all the evidence, saved files on 3 flash drives. One went to my bank safety deposit box. Another I mailed to my brother. The third I kept. Then I called the FBI. FBI field office, good morning. I need to speak with someone about money laundering. I have important evidence. They scheduled Monday morning. 3 days that felt like eternity. Saturday night, Robert knocked again. Michael, have you thought about my proposal? Still considering it. The deadline is running out. My partners are getting impatient. First time he mentioned other people directly, not just Robert Mitchell anymore. An entire organization. I need a few more days. You have until Monday. After that, the offer comes off the table. Sunday was the longest day ever. Every noise startled me. Every passing car made me run to the window. I slept with a kitchen knife under my pillow. Early Monday morning, I heard footsteps in my backyard. I got up silently and peered through the blinds. 3 men walked around my house. One was Robert. I did not recognize the others. They tested doors and windows, looking for entry points. I grabbed my phone and called police. The line was dead. They cut my internet and phone. Footsteps approached the front door. I heard tools being used on the lock. I exited through the back carrying only my wallet and flash drive. I jumped the fence and ran through empty streets toward downtown. At 6 a.m. I waited at the FBI field office door. Agent Harrison examined the evidence for 3 hours without speaking. Finally, he looked up. Mr. Stevens, this is pure gold. We have enough to dismantle a 10-year operation. What about my safety? We will include you in witness protection temporarily. Our team will arrest everyone involved. The operation lasted 6 months. Robert Mitchell and 17 accomplices were arrested. Investigation revealed a network moving $50 million yearly. Drug money, corruption, and kidnapping proceeds cleaned through shell companies. My life changed completely. New city, new name, new career in another state. Sometimes I wonder if it was worth it. Should I have ignored that briefcase? But I remember the faces in those photos. Victims of crimes Robert helped finance. Families destroyed by his dirty money. Today, I work as an accountant in a small Midwest town. I use the name Paul Anderson. I live alone in a simple house. I never had pets again. I always check if my mail was tampered with. I learned knowing certain truths can cost more than you imagine, even when doing right is your only option. The house at 47 Maple Street was sold at auction. A family with 3 children lives there now. Kids playing where Robert once grew roses watered with blood money. They do not know that place's history. I hope they never find out. Some truths are too heavy to carry alone. But sometimes carrying that weight is the price of making the right choice.